everyone, and welcome back to our Healthy Hips and Knees Secrets. My name is Sophie and I'm one of the lifestyle educators here at Positive Choice. For today's practice, we're going to use a strap or a towel, whatever you have that is nice and long, a block if you have one. If you don't need it, that's okay. And potentially for some of our balancing postures, a chair or a wall in front of you, even a side of a table would work. We're going to start with the block and we'll put it in between the thighs and bring the feet out hip distance apart. If your hips are wider than the block, that's okay. You can still keep your feet in just a little bit closer so you can hold on to the block. We'll bring the arms down the sides. Stand up nice and tall and close your eyes. If it feels uncomfortable with your eyes closed, you can find a gentle gaze down on the floor in front of you. Let's start by paying attention to our stand down into the feet. Spread out your toes nice and wide. Place them back down on the mat so that you're taking up as much space as possible with your feet. Begin to register where the weight of your body sinks down into your feet and into the earth. Are you tilting more forward on your feet or more backwards? Maybe you're leaning to the inside edges of your feet or more outwards. And your natural stand, try and pay attention to how that changes the position of your knees and maybe even up through the hips. As your toes are spread out nice and wide, begin to gently grab onto the mat so that the inner arches of your feet are lifting off the mat. You can relax your toes again, but try and keep the inner arches slightly lifted and see how that changes the position up through the knees and hips. You can rock gently forward and back, feeling how the front side and the back sides of your legs are catching you so that you do not fall. And we'll slowly make that movement smaller and smaller until you find that the weight of your body sinks down into the middle of your foot. Begin to squeeze onto the block with your inner thighs, just slightly activating your legs. Engage through the front sides of your thighs and you'll get the feeling of your kneecaps lifting upwards. Your glutes may be activating a little bit as your tailbone drops and your lower belly pulls in. Pull your shoulder blades in towards one another and let your shoulders sink away from your ears. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Take a full breath in through the nose. And take an open mouth exhale. Gently seal your lips. And find a slow, steady rhythm of your breath. And you'll know that if you cannot keep this slow, steady rhythm of breath in any of the postures today, that may mean that you need to take a modification, respecting your body where you are today. On your next inhale, reach your hands forward as you begin to sit your way backwards into chair pose. We're still gently squeezing onto the block, finding that the outer glutes, the inner thighs are staying active. Your tailbone is lengthening downwards as your lower belly reaches in. Full breath in, reach long through your fingertips. On your exhale, can you sit an inch deeper as you airplane your arms backwards, squeeze your shoulder blades in together. Inhale, reach your hands forward. Sink your way backwards into the heels so that if you're looking down over the knees, you should be able to see all 10 toes, maybe even wriggle them off the floor. Take one more breath in. Exhale, airplane the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together, and we'll feel a little bit of a burn in those legs. One last time. Inhale, reach. And exhale, send it back. Inhale, reach your hands forward. And on your exhale, stand up tall, hands come down your sides. Good. We'll remove the block for a second. And if you do need support for your balancing postures, go ahead and grab onto your chair, your wall, or your table. We'll balance first on the right foot. Spread out your toes nice and wide. Get that good connection to the earth underneath you. And we'll lift the left foot up in front of us. And see if you can get the knee up about hip height. Flex the foot, flex the ankle. Find your balance. Press firmly down into that standing foot so that you're lengthening a little more through the leg, up through the side body, and up through the crown of your head. Your hips are leveled. Either with you holding on to your chair or your table or just balancing free in space, we'll begin to draw some figure eights here with the knee. Just kind of warming up into the hip joint. And if you're starting to feel like you're being unbalanced here, you can go ahead and find that balance support. So feel how the thigh bone is moving around inside the hip socket. Next time your knee is out to the side, go ahead and grab it with your hand. Open through the hips. Still standing nice, strong, and tall into the standing leg. Think about activating the front side of the thigh and gently grabbing onto the mat. Take one more breath in. And a breath out. We'll slowly release it. Bring the foot into the front. Cross the ankle over. And begin to sit back like that chair pose we did earlier. This time it's just one leg. Again, you're welcome to have that balance support. Your foot stays flexed. That will protect your knee. And if you want a little deeper stretch here into the outer edge of the glute, you can gently press with your hand to the inner thigh. Don't worry, we're not here for long. Just want to get into that out. And as you press the knee outwards and down, you can lift the hips slightly upwards. Your next breath in, come back up to a stand, release. And on your exhale, drop the foot and you can shake out the legs for a second. And we'll take the other side. Spread out the toes on the left foot. Grab onto the mat. Find stability. And we'll lift the right knee up in front of us. Keep the ankle flexed. Your toes are lifted. And the knee is hip high. Your hips are square. So sometimes we have a tendency to kind of lift up through that right hip. Let's get it down next to the left. When you got your stability, we'll begin to draw some figure eights with the knee. And if you do fall out, it's not a problem. We'll just get back into it. Make sure you're still breathing. Maybe you can even coordinate the breath to movement. Next time your knee is outward, grab it with your hand. Pull the knee out to the side. Feel the inner thigh and hip opening. Stand strong and tall into the standing leg and all the way up through the crown of the head. Find yourself a focused spot in front of you, something that is still will help you with balance. One more breath in. And one more breath out. And we'll slowly release the knee. Cross the ankle over the opposite thigh. And begin to sink your hips backwards. If you're using your chair for help, you can have it in front of you. And put your hands on top. When you start to feel that stretch into the outer hip, outer glute, again, you can provide a little extra pressure. Just gently pressing into the inner thigh as you lift that hip upwards. Just a couple more deep breaths. On your next breath in, come back up, release the foot. And on your exhale, drop it. And you can shake it out here for a second. We'll do a chair pose one more time. Grab the block between your thighs. Feet about hip distance apart, or a little bit closer so the block doesn't fall. Your next breath in, reach your hands forward, sink your hips back. Gently squeeze onto the block. Take another inhale. As you sit a little deeper, your hands reach. On your exhale, send your right hand to the back, left hand forward for twist. So here we're working on twisting through the torso, but we want to keep the hips stable and squared straight ahead. Squeeze onto the block. So your knees should be right next to each other. Inhale, reach the right hand forward to meet the left. Exhale, send the left hand backwards without moving the legs or hips. Inhale, reach forward. Can you sit an inch deeper? Exhale, right hand to the back, twist. One more time each side. We got this. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale forward. And exhale, release. Remove the block. And we'll do one more balancing posture on this leg. Again, feel free to have the chair for a little extra balance. Spread out the toes on the right foot and grab onto the mat. Stand up nice and tall. Your next breath in. Lift the left foot up. And on your exhale, cross the thigh over the other, like you were sitting down on a chair with your legs crossed. So your inner thighs are touching and your knees are pretty much right on top of each other. From here, you can either find a little extra help with balance, dropping your left toes to the earth and kind of using it as a little kickstand. If you want to go deeper, you can try and wrap your toes in around your calf. This is what we call eagle posture. So we're kind of sitting down into that chair pose we just did, but your legs are wrapped. Now engage through the outer sides of your glutes so you feel your inner thighs squeezing in against each other. If you want to try without the balance support, you can lift your hands up. Breathe in and breathe out. Your next breath in, release, reach the foot up, and on your exhale, raise, shake out those legs. And we'll do it one more time. So other leg, left foot, spread out the toes, find that good base of support. Inhale, lift the right foot up, and exhale, cross your thighs, and drop down into your hips. From here, you can use your toes as a little kickstand, or you can wrap your toes in and around your calf for a little deeper stretch. Begin to activate through the outer sides of your glutes. Your inner thighs will contract in against each other. And if you want that little extra challenge, release your support and hold. Breathe in and breathe out. On your next breath in, release, lift the foot up, and exhale, drop the foot, drop your hands. Perfect. Go ahead and face the front of the mat. Feet hip distance apart. Inhale, reach your arms up and overhead, stand up nice and tall. And on your exhale, fold forward, bend your knees softly, and let your upper body hang. You can grab opposite elbows if that feels good. Just let your upper body hang. We'll begin to stretch out through the right leg, keep the left knee bent. And then exhale, bend both knees. Inhale, straighten out the other leg. And exhale, release. Do one more time each side. Inhale. Stretch out the right leg, bend the left. And exhale, bend both. One last time. Inhale. And exhale. Slowly step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat so you're in a lunge. We'll walk the left foot all the way over behind the right hand. And then send your left knee out to the outer edge of the mat and let it drop down. This is our picture pose. The right leg extends long behind you, all the way out through the toes. Lift your chest up. So here we are trying to flex through the ankle and allowing the knee to come all the way out and away from underneath your body. If this is too much or you're kind of falling over to the left hip, sometimes a block underneath that left hip to lift us up a little bit feels really nice. On a breath in, lift up through the chest. And on your exhale, walk your hands out and forward. You can drop your forehead down on your hands, down on the block, or all the way down on the mat, whatever feels better. If this stretch feels too tight for you, you can roll over to your back, crush your foot over the thigh, and grab around the right. I'll figure four stretch. So whatever variation works on your body. As you breathe in, find length all the way from the back foot and up through the crown of the head. And as you breathe out, see if you can release any tension you may hold on that left hip. And here for one more inhale. And one more exhale. Your next inhale, walk your hands back in. Tuck the toes behind you. And lift through the left leg and just slide it back out behind the left hand. We'll step the right foot forward and meet in the forward fold. And again, you can sway your body a little side to side. Finding a little release at the top of your glutes, at the top of your sacrum. And we'll set the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Walk the right foot all the way over behind the left hand and release the right knee to the mat, all the way out to the right side edge of the mat. Untuck the toes behind you and lengthen all the way through the back foot. Flex through the ankle and let the knee open out and away from your body. Take a breath in and lift, lengthen through your body. And on your exhale, walk your hands out and forward. And find a place where you can allow your head to relax, either all the way down to the mat, maybe a block underneath your head, or a couple of fists. Once again, if you need that modification, roll over to your back, cross the ankle, grab your thigh. If you're staying in the full variation, take a full breath in. And exhale, release the tension into that right hip as you let your hips, your pelvis sink deeper down towards the mat. Take one more full inhale. And one more full exhale. Your next inhale, slowly roll yourself back up. Go ahead and press into the back toes. Lift the right leg. And we'll step forward into forward fold. Step your feet all the way into touch. Bend your knees a lot. And on your next inhalation, come all the way up on your tippy toes. Lift your heels off the ground and curl into a tiny little ball. And from here, we'll go ahead and take a seat. And you can continue rolling all the way down the mat. Hug your knees and over your chest. Maybe rock it gently side to side. Take a breath in and lift your nose up towards your knees. Curl into a tiny little ball. With your exhale, release your legs out in front of you. Your hands down to the side. For final resting pose, Shavasana. Full breath in through your nose. And full breath out. You're welcome to stay here as long as you want, enjoying the benefits of your practice today. And whenever you are ready to continue your day, you can roll sideways, over, and come up to a comfortable seat. I want to thank you all for joining me today for hip, knees,